They say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poet's part. Bright light, city life, I gotta make it, this is where it goes down. I just happen to come up hard. Legal or illegal, baby, I gotta make it.
I never took a straight path nowhere.
Hey everybody, I am here to talk about this first episode of Season 3's Power. I hope everyone is just as excited as I am that this show is back. I have been waiting so long for it to come back, so I'm glad that it's finally here. So let's talk about it, y'all. I'm going to talk about the top 5 things of this episode. In this episode, Ghost wants everyone to stop calling him Ghost and start calling him Jamie because, he's trying to be legit and leave the street life alone. So while he's in his office at the club talking to Dre, who now works for him at the club, he tells Dre, while you're here, use your real name and call me Jamie. Don't call me Ghost in here because that part of my life is over and gone. He also tells Tasha when he's talking to her later on in the episode to not call him Ghost, call him Jamie. And it's just like this recurring theme that's going on. Like he's for real trying to change, but there is a certain part of him that will not let that street life go at all. Okay, and I'll talk about that more towards the end of the episode when he totally goes against everything that he was talking about throughout this whole episode. Okay. There were 2 specific instances where Ghost came out. Okay. So the first time that we see Ghost kind of coming out is when he finds out about the sneaky waitress that works in this club. And he puts on his running clothes with his hoodie and all of that. And every time I see him put on that black hoodie, his running clothes and all of that, I know something is about to go down. Like he's doing some goon type stuff, okay? And so he goes and sees about that waitress that he's suspicious of. And when he gets there, the waitress is dead. Somebody killed her. Okay, and the second time that we see Ghost come out is when he finds out that Lobos is still alive, when it's confirmed. When Angela tells him, look, he's alive. Ghost comes right back out. So is he really done with the street life? I think not. So right off top, there are 3 people that I know this season is going to bring Ghost a lot of problems. First is Lobos, of course, because Jamie, attempted to kill him, and Jamie killed all the head guys of all the connects that he had that he was selling drugs to. Like he took everybody out except Ruiz, and he let him run because, they were cool, and he actually had a respect for Ruiz and the way that he conducted his business. They just had a personal connection. They sat down and they talked through problems and, things like that. They were basically on the same page for a lot of things, in business. But everyone else, Jamie killed them off. So, who else? Oh, Greg is going to be a problem because, he was so in love with Angela, and Angela rejected him and left him for a hood dude. And, and Angela really took advantage of him. Like, for real. She took advantage of him because she was just using her womanly wiles to make him give up information, just do all these kind of things that could jeopardize his job. I mean, so much stuff she put him through, for real. And now he's out for blood. Like, he's out for revenge. He wants her to fall, Angela to fall, and he wants Ghost to fall, for real. He thought Angela was this, real clean-cut woman who wouldn't do anything to get her hands dirty. But that's not Angela. Like, she will get her hands dirty to a certain extent. And he didn't expect that from her. But anyway, he's going to be a problem. And who else? And I think Dre is going to be a problem. Only because when he came to Ghost And he was telling him, look, I need to make money. Ghost kind of brushed him off and was like, look, the way that we get money now is legit, and it takes a little bit longer to get money like that. This is not the fast money game. We can't play that game. So, you got to do it this way. But what Ghost is failing to realize is that Dre is not. Uh, he seems like he's just a hood dude, right? And he's used to making fast money. And yes, he wants to take care of his daughter. That's the whole reason why he stopped fooling with Keenan, because he was too cutthroat. Like, it was just too much. At any given time, if he felt like Dre should die, he would die, because he sat there and watched him kill his own son. So, no, that's not the type of person he wanted to be under. And he was very concerned about his daughter. But at the same time, he doesn't care enough about his daughter to want to leave that street life alone, because he brought up this idea, why don't we move drugs through the club? And Jamie had to tell him, no, we're not doing that here. But I think he's gonna be a problem, because Drake also went snooping around in Ghost's drawer in his office, and he found that bloody card. Like, Ghost, why you got that at work anyway? Like, why is that there? What is your problem? Anyway, these are not the only problems that Ghost is gonna face in this season, but those were just a few. These women are not believing anything that comes out of Ghost's mouth. So when Ghost went to talk to Tasha, she wanted to know what happened to Sean. And it was crazy because his his first concern was telling her that, okay, we need to sit down and talk to the kids about me and Angela. Really, Ghost? So, listen, I don't really agree with everything that Tasha says and does, okay? But in this moment, I was with her all the way. How you think you just finna come up in here and say we need to be telling the kids about you and your little mistress when they want to know what happened to Sean? At the end of the day, there were really three main male figures in their kids' life. There was Ghost, who was their father, Tommy, who was like an uncle to them, and Sean, who was like another big brother slash uncle to them. And all three of these men are out of their lives now. Ghost don't hardly come around. Tommy quit coming around. And Sean is dead. So they need some type of explanation. Imagine the abandonment that these kids feel right now. Okay? And then Ghost want to come in there talking about we need to talk to them about Angela. Ain't nobody trying to talk about Angela right now. Okay, they haven't even had the family conversation about what's going on with mama and daddy. So we're not ready to talk about no Angela right now, Ghost. What are you talking about? How insensitive are you? To me, number one, as your wife, and two, for these kids. He tried it. But anyway, so she says, what really happened with Sean? And so Ghost sat down and he told her the truth. Kanan killed him. And the reason why I got all these scars on my face is because I went and killed Kanan. And so she's in shock and disbelief, like for real disbelief. And she just kind of looks at him sideways. In her heart, she really feels that Ghost killed Sean. So Ghost tells her, if you don't believe me, go ask Tommy, because he was with me that night when all that happened. I couldn't have killed him because I was with Tommy getting him out of jail. And so she goes and she talks to Tommy. And it was a weird interaction because Tommy was acting like he didn't really want to talk to her. He was just like, what's up, Tosh? And, whatever. And he just kind of walked off. And she was like, no, I need to ask you something. Why you ain't picking up the phone? Why are you dodging my calls or whatever? And he just kind of brushed her off, and keep in mind, they are basically like family. He looks at Tasha like a sister. She looks at him like a brother. They're very close. And for him to be acting so distant, Tasha immediately knew that he and Ghost had fell out for real this time, because he's distancing himself from her. And normally, even when him and Ghost are going through whatever they're going through, he's still really close to Tasha. So, she knows something is up, but she still wants to know what happened that night that Sean died. And Tommy, after giving her attitude and dancing around the subject, he finally came out and told her, yes, Ghost was with me that night when it happened. And yes, Kanan did kill Sean, and Ghost did kill Kanan. And so even though Tommy sat there and confirmed Ghost's story, she still don't believe it. So I don't know. Like, he told her, I don't know what I need to do to make you trust me, but I'm just trying it. Basically that's what he said to her. And I mean, I can't really be mad at her because he was a liar. Like, he lied about so many little bitty things, especially like dealing with Angela and about the things that were going on in the business and stuff. He and Tasha were so close, and he wouldn't let her in on everything that was going on in the business because he trusted her. And also because she's street smart too. So when he got in a bind, she was able to help him get out of it. And so some of the trust was broken when he stopped confiding in her, period, and just started treating her like some regular chick on the side when she was his wife. So, yeah, I understand why she's very distrustful of him, but at the same time, come on, Tasha. If Tommy just sat there and confirmed it, like, get over it, believe it, go on about your business. I don't know what to tell you. And then there was a moment where Angela distrusted him because while they were at the club, now hold on, let's pause for 1 second. At the beginning of this episode, Angela and Ghost arrived at the club just the same way that Tasha and Ghost arrived at the club during the first episode of the whole series. Did y'all catch that? Look how far he's come from that very first episode to the first episode of this third season. Wow. But anyway, so while they're in the club, Julio comes in and she sees him walk up to Ghost, and they go talk in his office. And so she confronts him about it, and she's like, who was that dude that you was talking to at the club with that, that gang tattoo on his neck? And at first, Ghost really didn't want to give too much information, but then finally he kind of tells her, who the guy was and what he wanted, and which he was very honest about it, because when Julio came to see him, he was telling them some things, and for some, it's just like she believed him a little bit, but there's still this air of distrust between them because I mean both of them was lying to each other. She didn't tell him who she was in the beginning. He didn't tell her who he was, and it was a whole bunch of lying. So, their relationship was founded on lies. So, it's going to take a while to get that trust. So, that's what they're going through. This season, there are going to be a lot of people who want to kill Ghost, or who are going to be trying to kill Ghost. Unfortunately, Tommy has been given the order by Lobos to kill Ghost. When they find out that Kanan is still alive, he's going to be trying to kill Ghost. You better watch Greg because he might get desperate and crazy in a moment, and he will try to kill Ghost. I mean, there are so many people. It was a little eerie to me when Ghost comes out of the club and he looks across the street and he sees Tommy standing over there. And Tommy is just giving him this weird, I'm gonna kill you face. I don't like them being at odds with one another. I love them together and not apart. I want the romance back. Come on. Now that Ghost is not number one anymore, he is out of the game. Tommy is the boss. Sometimes Tommy can be over the top and he be doing way too much. Just like, when he was doing his little dirt and he pulled the mask off of his face and Julio was looking at him like, what are you doing? Like, you don't do that. Every time somebody bring up Ghost's name, he loses it. I mean, it's just like, going through a bad breakup. When somebody bring up your ex, you be like, why are you bringing them up? I don't want to hear their name. Shut up. It's kind of like that intensity for him. And that's what made Julio go and talk to Ghost. And he's like, look, Tommy is going to get everybody killed. He out here doing dumb stuff. Like, you need to get back in the game and get this all together. But, of course, Ghost was like, no, I'm really out of the game for real. That I'm not the boss anymore. Tommy is. And you're just gonna have to do what he tell you to do now. So y'all, I have a question, and please join the discussion and drop it in the comments below because I need to know about two things. Number one, the waitress that was working for Ghost in the club. Like, who do you think killed her? Number one, and two, do you think that's the reason why Ghost fired Cantos? Because I thought that was stupid of him to fire Cantos. Like, what are you doing? Sometimes Ghost can be very irrational and he acts off of emotion very fast. So I'm not really understanding that because Cantos was trying to tell him about Greg showing up in the club and asking about him. And Ghost would have needed to know that information, but he was just so hell bent on getting him out of there and firing him and all that stuff that he just neglected that altogether. And secondly, who do y'all think killed Tommy's dog? Was I the only one that thought Holly was dead to the bed in that house when Tommy got home with that pizza and he saw that blood trail? I thought it was Holly. And I said, good riddance, girl, because you get on my nerves anyway. But it was the dog. So, who do you think killed the dog? Do you think it's the same person that killed the waitress? Those are the two parts that just had me confused in this episode. But those are just some of the highlights of what happened in this first episode of season 3 of Power. I hope you all have enjoyed this little recap, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.
They say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poet's part.